with a scammer posing as a WWE star to get a man to sell his house and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for April 17th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. A few years back, Xia Li became the first Chinese star to join WWE. As she recently made her in-ring debut on the main roster, her opponent for that match, Natalya, mentioned on the Wild On podcast that she wanted to make Li look good. I know on TV I play the role of the bad guy, but I can see that Xia is brand new. She's just learning the English language. She's trying her hardest. She's been training and she's been working hard for this chance to make her debut for WWE. How can I help her to showcase herself in the best possible way in 2 minutes on Smackdown? I know we don't have a lot of time, but 2 minutes is still 2 minutes. Let's make it amazing. Let's make sure that Xia shines. Let's make sure she stands out. Not everybody knows how to do that or wants to do that. On screen during Smackdown, fans have noticed that former NXT champion Raquel Rodriguez is backstage. When it comes to booking plans for Rodriguez, Ringside News would report that we've heard people remark about how Raquel Rodriguez's WWE debut was rushed, and there's no plan for her. We can confirm that is not the case. Everything is going according to plan. No spoilers, but we were told this is WWE's way of introducing her to the Smackdown audience. Talking about the art of storytelling in pro wrestling, Eric Bischoff noted on After the Bell that he is disappointed by the lack of emphasis on this. What's the one thing about sports entertainment that has always captivated people? It's really hard to pinpoint one thing because it's different for everybody, but I think across the board, it's the story. I would love it if there was a way in today's environment and the sheer volume of things that needed to be produced. There could be perhaps more emphasis on story and less emphasis on the dynamic physical presentation. I think what's happened with the industry over the years, the last 15 in particular, maybe 20, is that the athleticism has reached a point of being mind-boggling. It's like watching Olympic quality gymnastics do things that seem to defy physics. Now we're seeing it within the context of a wrestling match. It's mind-boggling to me, but I think with the emphasis that's on the physical presentation, unintentionally story and character have become de-emphasized. So I'd like to see that balance shift a little more than it currently is. But part of that is just me, because I've always loved the story. I've never been as excited about the physical presentation as I have been about the story presentation, but I may be in the minority on that one. Following the departure of Cody Rhodes from AEW, he has made his return to WWE and is looking forward to his rematch against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania Backlash. Talking about the state of AEW and keeping it 100, Disco Inferno said the company no longer has any proper wrestling minds. They can use anybody that has a good mind for the business there. If their creative team is Tony, QT Marshall, the Young Bucks, and Kenny, those are guys that never, were part of regular weekly high-rated television in the States. You need somebody in there that had that experience. At least a few people. We said this all along. Would you agree with that? And now they don't have Cody. The AAA and ROH Tag Team Champions FTR have made it clear over the years that they are major fans of Bret the Hitman Hart, so it should not come as a huge surprise to learn that Hart will be managing the duo for an independent wrestling event, as Big Time Wrestling tweeted that FTR will finally get their chance to be managed by Bret Hart when they take on the team of Brian Pillman Jr. and Brock Anderson with Arn Anderson. It happens on Friday, June 10th. Tickets on sale now. Cash Wheeler would react writing, "Oh yeah, this is real. Talk about a year. Someone go check on Dax." Known as Zack Ryder in WWE, Matt Cardona has made quite the impact on the wrestling scene outside of the company, with him being a champion in multiple promotions. He would take to Twitter a couple days ago to recall the past couple years. 2 years ago, April 15th, 2020, I was released by WWE. It needed to happen. It was one of the best things that ever happened in my career and in my life. These past 2 years have been incredible. My goal was never to prove anybody wrong. I wanted to prove my fans and myself right, and I have, and I will continue to do so. I'm still here and I'm always ready. On On the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, Cardona would note that he sent a photo of himself to the WWE chairman. And speaking of Ultimo Dragon, I recreated that photo and sent it to Vince McMahon. Well, by the time this comes out, I did. ROH World Champion Johnathan Gresham recently defended his title against Dalton Castle at the Battle of the Belts event, but it seems the champ is hurt following the show. As Progress Wrestling posted this, regrettably due to injury, Johnathan Gresham is not medically cleared to make the trip to the UK this weekend. Replacements will be named shortly for both Atlas weekend events. Our champion will be back in action at Chapter 134 on Sunday, May 15th. On Monday Night Raw, Kevin Owens has been in an on-screen angle with Ezekiel, the purported younger brother of Elias. Talking about this on his Hall of Fame podcast, Booker T touched on this brewing rivalry first, talking about the talent of Kevin Owens. I look for the guy's talent more than anything. I look for the hidden talents. Stuff that you can feel it, but you can't see it. I look at a guy like Kevin Owens, and I say, this guy is evolving as far as his talent goes. Right now, he's doing stuff with Ezekiel, of course. He just came off the stuff with Stone Cold Steve Austin. But I feel like he is a guy that is going to be able to be put in a position that you're going to be able to bank on him going out there and delivering, no matter where you place him. I'm going to just say it like it is. I like stuff like this. Everybody can't be in the title picture at one time. Everybody just can't be on the show going out and displaying how good of a wrestler they are. I've always said that Elias, for me, before the Ezekiel, I'd rather see this guy play his guitar every week as opposed to actually going out and wrestle. Let's build this guy up enough to where he can actually do a real concert. That's where my mind was thinking. The wrestling was a backdrop. We don't know where it's going. The guy comes out of the curtain, he's at the show with his ring gear on, and he's not even booked to wrestle. When you look at wrestling, you can't look at it like mixed martial arts or some other organized sport. It's not like that. When people start looking at wrestling in those terms, people just beat themselves over the head wondering why this or why that. There's no reason why. I like it, and I just want to see where it's going, and I can't wait to see Ezekiel in the ring performing. Following his release from WWE, William Regal would make his debut for AEW as he is managing the likes of Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. Now Regal is set to have his own podcast with the description for the show reading, "The gentleman villain William Regal will be featured in what is sure to be one of the most talked about wrestling podcasts in the world." Regal, originally from Blackpool, England, will share stories on his teenage years, spent traveling the road of his native United Kingdom, wrestling fellow wrestlers, as well as strangers from out of the crowd as part of a touring carnival act. Regal and Thompson will also talk about his days traveling the world and winning championships in Europe, the Middle East, and Japan, before his career brought him to the big stages of WCW and WWE, where he won numerous championships and accolades. Another topic will be Regal's run as the general manager of Raw and his time as the GM of NXT, where he helped develop the next generation of wrestling superstars. In the online age, scams have become more common, and the pro wrestling world is no exception. Recently, WWE star Liv Morgan noted that a scammer tricked a man into selling his home using her name. As she said, "A man sold his home and lost everything thinking he was helping me. This has me so sick. Please know I would never reach out to ask any of you for a single penny. I'm so sad. Please stop." Guys, I've been sent so many emails of horror stories about people making fake accounts and emails pretending to be me and asking for huge amounts of money. This really makes me so sad. Please don't use my name to con people out of their hard-earned money. Please, please, please. Brought back by WWE for the first time since July of 2008, Saturday night's main event was a big live show that took place last night, and here are the results from WrestleZone's John Clark. Finn Balor beat Theory, Charlotte Flair defeated Aaliyah, AJ Styles beat Damian Priest by DQ after Priest used a steel chair, the Usos defeated The New Day and Sheamus and Rich Holland, Cody Rhodes defeated Seth Rollins, Ricochet beat Sami Zayn, Bianca Belair beat Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley, and Roman Reigns defeated Drew McIntyre. After his match, Roman Reigns would talk to the crowd, noting the difficulties of not having an off-season in WWE.
This is the first time I've ever heard the word situation written. Yeah. been a crazy month, it's been a crazy 2 weeks to process what's going on. But when you go through such a huge moment, you go through a lot of your emotions. You just want to make it proud. But I can tell you right now, with the turnout, with the energy that y'all brought, you make it really easy for all of us to form this strong.
And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.